Good morning from P&O Pacific area. We're actually just coming into Milne Bay, which is a province of Papua New Guinea, and its capital is Alotau, so we'll be visiting Alatau today. Milne Bay is a 15-kilometre bay, and it's really important in Australian history for the Battle of Milne Bay. So that was August 25 to September 7 in 1942, and by 1943 this was one of the main staging posts for the Australians during the World War II. So the Battle of Milne Bay was actually known as the Battle of Rabi by the Japanese, so it depends on which side of history that you are actually going to be guided by. So the Battle of Milne Bay or the Battle of Rabi, R-A-B-I. So today what we'll do is we'll visit the hospital, we'll visit a school, and we'll also go and see the remnants of some Japanese kamikaze planes that have been uncovered in the jungle. And we'll also go to the volcano, the seismic station. So it's going to be a really diverse day today. We're also going to visit a village, and the children of the village will probably sing for us, or some people in the village will do a dance for us, and then we will have a meal prepared by that village. So today is going to be a very, very exciting day. I think you can just see the land there on the horizon, so it might be a bit humid. It's definitely very overcast today. So I'm sitting here on a very rainy day, heading into Milne Bay in Papua New Guinea. So there is 160 named islands in the Milne Bay area, and there are 500 other atolls and cays that are not named or populated. This area was named from a western perspective. It's about 1660 when Untitled explorers came to this region. The region has been pearl diving, mining, of course the World War II, both Japanese and Allied forces were here. The last seismic activity was 2 months ago. I think it was a 5.4 earthquake. Yesterday and the day before, to the islands to the north, there's a crescent-shaped island called, I'm going to go New Brunswick, but it's East New Britain. And it has 2 areas on it where there was some seismic activities, anywhere between a 6.4 and a 7.1 yesterday, Kickapoo and Kimby. So that's on a crescent-shaped island just to the north of here, and we're actually on the Milne Bay is the furthest east point of the actual landmass of Papua. So I don't know what today's going to bring. Hopefully I've got enough wet weather gear that is going to last me for the day. I've got to be little socky socks, and my penguin hair is going to get really soaked. So over there you can see emerging from the clouds, you can see the actual mainland of Papua, the most eastern port, which is Milne Bay. This region actually has 48 languages of the a Malay Polynesian language group. The area is also called Massim, M-A-S-S-I-M, by the locals, for the Massima Islands. And another interesting cultural thing about this region is the Kula ring, K-U-L-A ring, and ring just means it goes rotating around all the islands, and there's 7 major islands within the group. And they are things that don't necessarily have financial value, but they've got historical value, or because they've been linked to families, and the length of time that this particular item has been going around being traded. So we may get to see some of its pearls, some of its coral. So maybe through today, when we go to the village, we may see something related to these type of interactions between groups and villages. So potentially this is going to be a pilot or the immigration people coming on board. Last time I was here we had to file through a room and get our passports stamped, but all the paperwork had been submitted to the cruise company before we boarded. Little guy waving there. Yeah. So this will be a really big day for the area, each island that we go to. It's a major part of their economy. We're a group of about 80, so this is going to be one of the biggest tour groups that this individual company that we're dealing with has facilitated. So it's going to be a challenge for them and an interesting outing for us. So we're going to be visiting the Alatau hospital before we go up to a village, and what we'll do is we'll walk through the wards, and we'll actually see that there are people just wait in waiting areas in the middle of this precinct. And when we get up to the administration building, you'll see the most beautiful carved doors. It's just quite amazing, and they were donated by local churches. So next 15 minutes or so, we're going to see how health is delivered in Alatau, Milne Bay. So the administration building is down there to the end of the quadrangle, and then the wards are around the side, and people just wait in the open. So Alatau is a 152-bed hospital, provincial, so for the area, with just over 200 nurses. All the clinics happen in this central area down in the middle, and the wards are a little further down. You may be able to see the ocean just over there. So it's built on a plateau. It's just the most amazing location for a hospial. So I mentioned before about the ornate doors. I thought they were donated by a church group, but it wasn't. It was by the Australian government with their incentive funds, so their donations. But yeah, they're absolutely amazing doors surrounded by a hospital that needs a lot of attention. So our nurse guide is actually the ophthalmology nurse, and she's just taken us through the clinic, and she said that they do clinics Monday to Thursday, and they operate on a Friday. They have outreach services that go and bring our clients to them, and they do cataracts and pterygiums, etc. So we actually got the privilege of going through her clinic. So we're just here near the outpatient clinic, and we've just come to the emergency department. The nurse is actually just saying that hospitals in Papua New Guinea used to be free, but now it's a fee-for-service model, and you can see the revenue office there behind us. So they got into a lot of trouble, so maybe they ran out of money after independence. So just over my shoulder there you can see some oxygen tubing hanging on a IV pole. What the nurses said is that they get reused until they look as if they can't be used, or they're too grossly contaminated, or if they've been with an infectious patient. So they do not, single-use items are not used once, because it's a on-needs basis, and they just would run out of consumables if they threw it away for every patient. So here's the wayfinder for the hospital, and our guide is just telling us that the morgue and the laboratory is just down that way. So we are actually a fee for service. So you can you pay anywhere between 2 kina, which is about $1 Australian, and for emergency after hours you can they ask for about 10 kina. So it was a free model after independence, but it's not now. So we're just walking past the morgue, and this store has the morning room, so we're making an assumption that this is going to be the viewing room for the relatives. Outside each of the wards there's actually relatives waiting areas, so they spend as much time at the hospital as the patients do, and they set up their little sleeping areas. This is where they eat and wait for their relatives to finish their hospital treatment. So we're just outside the medical ward at the moment. So the nurse is actually telling us that it's a 16-bed unit, that there's only 12 staff and 6 of them are assistants in nursing. There's only 6 registered nurses in the acute medical service, and they do ICU, psychiatric, HIV, AIDS. And there's only one qualified ICU nurse, she just mentioned, as a sidebar within the whole complex. So relatives do stick and stay with the patients during their hospitalisation. So the manager of the medical department told us that the general medical ward is the only one that's being serviced at the moment, that the acute medical ward, which is the second floor of that wing, doesn't have enough staff, so is not open and not serviced. We've only got one patient in the ICU at the moment. It's a snakebite patient, and they can actually utilise 4 patients within this space, even though there's one trained ICU nurse. And what she was explaining, that if the patient is ventilated, they actually take turns, a 2-hour rotation, and they roster staff from all over the hospital to assist the doctors, the residents, the school, the nurses, student nurses, are all rotated to ventilate the patients. So the off-duty nurses are actually told to come in and chat to us today, and they are telling us that they have 2 shifts, a morning and an afternoon, and then they're on call until from 10 until 8 in the morning. So everybody's taken their shoes off to be in the recovery room and the operating theatre. Just looking at everybody's feet. Just looking at everybody's feet there, and they have 2 operating theatres. They operate every day of the week. Today's Friday, so it's ophthalmic. They do caesarean sections of emergency every day, and last week they said that they had a visiting surgeon from Fiji who stayed for a week, him and his wife, and they did surgeries all week, and they've just left. So it's a very interesting, very different way of doing it. So we've actually come to a village, and it's a village in Rabi Bay, where initially the Japanese were supposed to have come, but they miscalculated their landing on August 25 in 1942. So the students are over here doing a dance for us. So our tour guide has collected some donations, and they're going to drop it off to the school a little bit later. Just had problems getting it off the boat, so that's all been sorted. So they've given us some fruit, some bananas and some papaya. Children did that dance for us, and I was privileged enough to meet the principal's wife. I went to use her bathroom and got scared with the cat that had given birth to the kittens in the shower recess. Very interesting morning. We We've arrived at our guide's village, and she says across the river there is the rest of her family. Walking across the bridge. They've stopped in front of me and some people are wobbling. Can we evacuate the bridge, please? Just moving forward. I don't think it's used to so many body mass indexes. Whew. I think the locals have arrived. to a cultural village where some locals are trying to make a tourist industry. It's a family, and we're just down to Uncle Jockham's cabin where he and his wife and family live. Everything that has constructed the house was in the local vicinity. The leaves and palms on the trees around were used to make the house. The guide was saying about smoking of the coconut to make copra, and that it is more beneficial for people to to do that than to go and work in a shop, because they earn about 60 Australian dollars for 100 kilos of copra, which is dried coconut, and that coconut is smoked in a smokehouse like this for a week and then bundled up and sold. So we've had a pretty amazing day out and about with a guided tour. We went to visit a small village the local entrepreneurs had created, and they showed us around, so that was really, really fascinating. The heat is pretty exhausting, and I think a few people have succumbed to the heat and come back to the boat a little bit early. But this has been another amazing day. Every day is an adventure when you're cruising. So if you like what you see, subscribe. Some native dancers are dancing over there. Subscribe to my channel and see any new videos that I upload. Stay safe, happy travel, welcome to the Cruising Club.